Welcome back to this YouTube channel. So nice to see everybody. So glad you're here. This is going to be another speaking exercise, but it's a lot of fun. We're going to do some drawing, and it really is a good language arts exercise. So the directions today, you're going to need a piece of paper and a pen or pencil. And then every time I put down my pen, you're going to pause the video, teacher, or if you're doing this by yourself, pause the video and do whatever it is I ask you to do. So today's directions are the following. You don't have to copy this. You don't have to copy this. I'm going to ask you to tell, that means to speak. So to tell a story using pictures. I'm going to ask you to tell a story using pictures. Now, oftentimes in tests and other activities, we'll see that you have pictures already given to you. But I think it's kind of boring. Why don't we tell our own story and make our own pictures? So this is what I want you to do. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I'll pause. I want you to go ahead and make 1, 2, just watch me, 2, 3, 4. I want you to make 4 boxes. If your boxes don't look like mine, that's okay. And between the boxes, if you can, and if you have to put 1 on the bottom, that's fine. However you want to do it. I want you to make little arrows. So you see these little arrows. So go ahead and do that. Perfect. So these little boxes, these are going to be what happens in the story. This is going to be your beginning. This is going to be your middle. And this is going to be your end. Let me show you what I did. So in preparation for you, I made my own little story with my own little boxes. So it says here, this is my paper. It says, tell a story using pictures. So here I drew, there's a little girl and she finds a dandelion. And maybe you've seen dandelions, you could blow and the little dandelion parts go everywhere. And they say you should make a wish. So here I drew a little girl, she finds a dandelion and she's dreaming about what it would be like to just be under the sea and live with the with or be a part of the fish and the turtles and the whales and the dolphins and the plants for a little while. So she wishes for that. And then here she is, and the dandelion wish comes true. So I drew her. She's swimming with different sea life. Do you like my turtle? Yes, I hope you do. Here's my little fish. It's a sunny day. And so every time you see how there's an arrow, it's kind of like the arrow's kind of like me saying, and then after, next. So all of those order words that we should be using in our writing and in our reading and in our and even in our speech, right? So then afterwards, that's another order word. You see her and she sees a little fish with its family. And she gets a little bit sad. I'm going to add a little tear. This is my little tear because she misses her family. So here she's underwater. She finds another dandelion underwater. And do you see here she's blowing? She's making a wish and she wishes she was back home with her family. And finally, that's a good order word. Finally, she's here and she's back home and she's back with her family and she's very happy. You see this smile on her face. She's happy to be with her family. So if I were to tell a story, because remember, this is the key word, tell a story using pictures. This is an example. And I've even started it for you. You should know these words. Once upon a time, most fairy tales, even movies start with these words, once upon a time, excuse me. So I'm going to tell my story because this is, after all, a speaking exercise, right? Once upon a time, there was a little girl. She was walking and found a dandelion. She knew that if she blew on the dandelion and made a wish, it might come true. So she did it. Afterwards, she found herself in the middle of the ocean. She was swimming happily with turtles and fish and dolphins and beautiful plants. plant later right here, right? Um, Next, as she was swimming, she saw a family of fish. She had been in the ocean already for a few hours. She started to get a little bit sad. She was realizing that she missed her family and her home and her community. Then she saw another dandelion and thought, hmm, if I could make a wish and go into the ocean, I wonder if I could make a wish to go back home. So she picked the dandelion and she blew again. All of a sudden, she woke up and in front of her eyes was her home. Her parents and her sisters and her brothers were inside this house, and she was so happy. She loved the ocean, but she loved being home too. The end. So that's my story. So, right now, this is what I'm going to want you to do. That's my story. You don't copy my story. That's my story. I want you to go ahead and draw your story. Don't forget, you need a beginning, you need what happened in the middle, and what happened in the end. It could be a real story, a nonfiction story, maybe a great day you had. It could be a fiction story like mine with the little girl living under the sea. It could be in Mars. It could be the story of a pet dog. It could be anything you want. I'm going to go ahead and pause, and teachers, this might take a while. All right, I'm seeing a lot of wonderful, wonderful, wonderful pictures. Now I'm going to want a volunteer or two or three to raise their Zoom hand, show their picture, and as you're telling the story, I want you to point to the different things that happen in your story. Go ahead and let's take some volunteers. That was excellent. Okay, go ahead and upload your stories to Google Classroom or however it is your teacher wants. So we want the pictures. And so all you're gonna need is the pictures because I told you you didn't have to write this. So we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.